Hey everyone, how's it going? We're at a pretty important level on treasuries at the moment. How's everyone doing? Let me know how your day's been. We'll do the usual, we'll start off with treasuries and then we'll jump into indices. See how the ES and NQ are doing. So this is quite an important level right now. We can see we had basically a double distribution day. So on UB and ZB here, or the Ultra and the 30 year, we're just currently at VWAP. So most likely what we're going to do is if we don't defend this level, but most likely we're going to go back down sort of into 12.5s. But if we do crack here on the 30 year and Ultra, you can see there's a big step in the profile here. So good level to defend, and you've also got the support, or sorry, the resistance on the 10s and the 5s here. So in order for the 30s to go bid, you're up to value area high for the day. So it's quite an interesting spot. Hi Neil, buddy, how's it going? How's your day been, mate? What all has been happening in your world, man? Have you taken any trades? What is the sitch? Yeah, we're pretty much, my side, we're pretty much done. I mean, we're 8 ticks on 10 year, 6 on the 30s, and I think we made 2 on the Ultra Bond. So good day. Good day. I actually quite enjoyed the day that was a holiday, to be honest. It just completely fading the extremes. It's really simple when actually the market's like that, because when it just gets out of whack, you're just fading it back into the mean. And that was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, yesterday where it was a half day. Because we're always just gonna breakouts are going to be so scarce on those days. So the high probability is to fade. They said they're not going to reset your balance. Jeez, oh. Nightmare, buddy. Well, back on the horse, man, I suppose. Do you copy trade at all, Neil, or do you just use one account if you're trading prop? I tend to think the copying accounts is a good way to scale it. You can afford with how cheap the evals are to try and pass them quite quickly, but you just need to be mindful of the habits that you create. Sathya, how's it going? How is it going? How is everyone doing? Let me know how your day's been. We're at quite a key level right now in treasuries. Don't worry though, for everyone that wants to check out the ES, I'm aware that you'll be bored out your marbles watching this. So we can see right now the bid has been refreshed. We had a couple of questions in Discord earlier where you can see right now they've hit into the bid, and now we're currently refreshing, which is never a great sign. So if they're hitting into this, you want to see this just disappear. So they're continually adding. So 1,000's just disappeared, but we're ticking up. And you can see they're hitting in on the 30s. So if you notice that how much is pulled there, there was 3k a second ago, and then look, they've just ticked down 200 contracts and then it disappeared. So we'll see how they behave here, but I just can't really see us especially this time of day. You know, I think the further away, the further we get to like 19.5s on 10s, I think it's a good fade opportunity. Just considering where the distribution's been today. But at this time, there's what, 3 hours left. Typically, the treasuries are just going to find a spot and probably be in a 3-4 tick range because there's not any more data points coming out. Nice, trader boy. Nicely done, buddy. Profit's profit at the end of the day. It's a good idea, Neil. It's a good idea to scale it. Okay, if we continue lifting into the offer here on the Ultra and the 30s, we may get this lift into 17s. But they are toying a little bit on the bid, and this is staying relatively strong. But you can see here that when they've only traded 31s into it, and 5.3k is still there. Okay, so sellers have stayed active. They've hit there and then reloaded. Interesting. I don't think we're going to do too much here. I think we'll probably switch to indices just directly. Do you guys trade anything else apart from ES and NQ? Does anyone trade any gold or anything like that? You need the balls of steel to trade gold. I don't think it's not an order flow product, and you know, it's quite difficult. Anytime I've watched it in the past, there was always like, you know, 30 or 40 bids, you know, a couple of prices away from current. It's weird. Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, this is the thing, mate. You can't prove a thing there, can you? That's it. It just seems extremely sus that they do it. It just seems extremely suspect, doesn't it? That it just seems to happen while you're in a trade. You know, and it's not like you're in a trade all the time. TP, what seems too good to be true? You mean the prop firms in general, or what do you think? Okay, we're there in the fives. I want to see if we tick up here to 17s. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I think with prop firms, you just need to take as much money from them while they last, and you need to play to their rules. It's not like a real market. That's the thing. In a live market, you don't have a trailing drawdown. That there is no there's there's just no benefit to having a trailing drawdown. They can pitch it as it, you know, it makes you take profits quicker or whatever, but you know, you now can't really scale into positions. So far I've heard with what they called Apex, you can't scale into position anymore. And then, well, I think you can do it once, but you know, they just limit it. They just, you know, so you can't really scale into position, so they're limiting the upside there. And what I mean is, if you take a position, it goes into profit, then you add into a winner, and then you add again into a winner. You can't do that. So they're limiting the downside and they're limiting the upsides as well there, because these companies don't really need to worry about the how do I say this? they don't really need to worry about traders self-destructing because they do it anyway, right? Um, so all these little weird rules are in place to try and limit the upside of traders. Things like 30% consistency rule. There is no other reason that is a thing other than just to limit the prop firm's downside on the trader. There's no other. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Just my opinion on there. And then same thing with other ones where they have scaling and stuff. They have scaling programs in place, not to really test you as a trader, just so that their downside is protected. Do you know what I mean? None of that is even close to live market environment. And Apex is all you can really only scalp when you use Apex accounts if you're to use them. Anyone that's got trailing drawdown you can only scalp, because if you take a position and it's a day position and you hold it all day and say, I don't know, say you're up $2,000 and it goes back to break even, you don't just not lose anything in that trade. You actually lose $2,000. It's fucking mental. It's just ridiculous how they do it. Picked up. Saying that, I've got myself a nice lungo before the stream. I think I've had too many coffees today, to be honest. I'm really glad I had a nice simple session today. Nice. I love it when I have days like that. I think I had 2 ticks of drawdown on treasuries, and every time I hit into the bid today, I was just instantly on side. It's great when you have days like that. I had quite a hard day on Tuesday. I didn't trade very well. I just how would I say my performance was Tuesday? I basically held on to trades a little bit too long, losing trades. I ended up the day like a marginal loss, but it was not a great day for following my process, to be honest. Yeah, everyone has days like that. So the next day being a half day was great, because I actually really like holidays. So this is actually a good opportunity. So we're hitting into the bid and reloading here. So you're basically on treasuries. Look how thick the book is in the 10-year, right? There's no other market where you're seeing 5,500 bid, and like 2k offered at the moment. It's just extremely thick. So they're the only markets where you can get in and your stop can be 3 ticks, like comfortably. All my trades today, I have an emergency stop in at 5 ticks on treasuries. It's my standard one is 3, but then I have a 5 and 3, so for an emergency, and then typically I'll manage it as it goes. But treasuries, it depends on the time of day, but treasuries you'll maybe get a 5-6 tick run, which doesn't happen that often. It's just a really good product to it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys play poker. Treasuries is very similar to cash poker. You don't have massive days, like, you're not putting up huge days, but they're just consistent, and your down days are consistent as well, unless you trade like a dick. But you know yourself when you're trading like a dick. So well, the one thing that really annoys me, and this is not a jab at any YouTubers, in particular, is if you first type in some strategies and stuff, and then you come into some YouTubers, and I feel that depending on which ones they watch, you know, take the biggest ones, right? Which is trades by Matt and that Patrick dude, right? Nothing against them at all. They've been round the block for many years, but they've been basically going to the highest bidder for prop firms for a long time. And both of them have now completely changed the style of trading. I think Matt is definitely benefited from it. It looks like, but they've both you have, in order to, depending on which prop firm you trade with, you in essence have to change your style of trading. Swing trading is obviously not a thing. Position trading for a day or a day position trade is not a thing with Apex, because you get massively penalized for holding a position for the day, because if you don't take your top tick on that, you in essence lose some equity in the trade, you know. And also as well, never mind that, there's the amount of hoops you have to jump to get paid. You now can't DCA in or average into a position, so you can't scale in. You have to have a minimum amount of trading days. You have to hit a consistency rule. And I've saw some other people comment things in the past where they say things like, Apex has emailed me to question some of my trades and stuff. And the trouble that I have with these firms, and it's kind of different to the ones that put you into a live environment, is Apex don't put anyone live. But you definitely, take as much money as you can out of these firms before before you go into your personal account or whatever. Or it's really just there as a stopgap, to be honest. So if you're brand new to trading, it makes sense to go with prop firms, so you're not putting your own money at risk. But if you've been trading for many years and you've got confidence in your edge, and you have the capital, just go to a personal account. Because the money you make of a day is yours. There's not all of these fluffy rules. I mean, Apex is the rules are ridiculous, ridiculous setup, and it's the same with a lot of them where you have to have X amount of winning days over a certain percentage and stuff. I mean, it's just ridiculous. A lot of the way they do it, but hey ho, man, it's their ball, their game, I suppose. Hello, Khalid. How's it going, buddy? But yeah, you're right, Trader Boy. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a good way to test an edge, and to take as much money out of them as possible, because they're not going to be there all the time. The business model in itself is flawed. The only way it would make sense is if they really nurture the winning traders so that they can make money from them and scale and help scale them, but they don't do that. They almost see the winning traders as a threat to their business model. So yeah, nice, you had a good day today, man. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. But yeah, I agree, Trader Boy. Trading is difficult enough without all the hoops you have to jump through. Ugh. Alright, I'm going to switch to indices because Treasuries is extremely boring for a stream. Let me save this, and then I'm going to close this, and we'll open up. We will open up our indices deck so we can see what's happening. Okay, so we're at the lows. Interesting. We were saying though that the market probably had to have a correction. You know, so it looks like now, wow, we really are. Jeez, oh, that's classic, isn't it? Classic how it does that. So as soon as we broke this level, the fact that there was not any value built up here, you know, we're going to see tons of long liquidations past this point, which we're seeing now. This has been quite a volatile day, hasn't it? So we lifted into the offer, went bids, pre-market, then have just basically dumped all day, isn't it? It's just a, yeah, complete dump. So this is now just a complete regain from this move. Interesting. Neil, geez, oh, I don't know, it just means like, I don't know, holy smokes, wow, surprised. I don't know, just a term. It's interesting. Depending on where you're from, you have those weird terms, don't you? We're going again. Here. Right, we're going to put this into its own profile. But yeah, fading right now is not advisable. I mean, the next sort of level we've got to help stop the market is probably going to be, you know, somewhere like here, this sort of level. But yeah, we are absolutely dumping at the moment. Let me see the negative delta. We're down geez, nearly negative 20k delta. Fucking hell. Again, this is the type of day where you basically just flip just flip this here. I know the pre-market is gone. This is just regular trading hours here. But if we flip this, this is pretty much the exact same as this day, you know, slight pullback, and the market's just selling off. NQ is really ripping here, wow. It's going to be hard to recover here for sure. I feel like any pullback is just. So you're saying Neil that you found a reasonable. Is that a stop? What's ST? Stop and profit limit with my trading start? Is that what you're referring to there? Stop and profit limit, or a stop and TP or something? Is that what you're referring to there, bud? How do you set up the cumulative delta in Sierra chart? Is it cumulative delta bar vault? Yes, exactly. There's quite a few variations they have, Sathya. I would just say just default to the volume one. The tick one is slightly different. You can check the difference on Sierra. The data display is slightly different. I would just say, just to be on the safe side, just always go with the volume. Stop loss. Okay, so you're basically saying you don't know when to leave a trade, you know how to enter, you don't know when to exit, which causes huge losses. So what you need to start doing is how I would say this till I'm blue in the face, to be honest, but it's the number one thing that helped my trading. And it's all very well, you know, you live and die with the data on these charts, but you need to start knowing your edge and believing in your data. So you need to know how far a trade goes against you before it goes into profit. It's really important. And Sathya, I think the cumulative or CVD volume is pretty out the box. I don't think you need to do a lot with it, if I remember correctly. So what would be safe way to try to catch a bottom, wait for absorption, and then rebid the level with a stop below? Yeah, exactly, DV. I mean, to be honest with you, this type of action for me, um, fading this, trying to call the bottom like a superhero is never advisable because we don't have the money to stop it. I mean, they're really trying at the minute to rip it, but really what you'd want to see is, the market to potentially close back above here. You want to see some actual volume trade out and some buyers actually start to step in, because ultimately right now any buying has just been sold into. So what really is going to change that for the day? Do you know what I mean? And considering we're one time framing, and the rule is, okay, if we zoom in here, when the market is one time framing, like so, you do not fade. No fade allowed when the market is one time framing. Because if you say to you, right, I'm going to pick the bottom like an absolute stud, right? where do you start? Do you know what I mean? Where do you start? You take an L here, you take it, before you know it, you're five down and you're throwing your computer out the window. So you need to wait. You need to wait until the market confirms something. Like, I mean, even like here. So the market pulled back, then we came down, we swept a level, you go bid, and then you take it up here. That could potentially work, but you would have to wait for a pullback. Like, how to explain that? When the market's dumping like this and it's just cracked a level, you kind of need to wait. You need to wait for buyers to come in. You know what I mean? Because considering it's so one-sided, it's difficult to just say, right, we're coming into some volume, because the book is really thin today as well. But that's the thing, DV. I would say with the market's one time framing, just don't look to fade unless the market's. You maybe need to look more for exhaustion. Uh, so, for example, we're pretty much at initial balance times 2. I can tell you that a lot of the time the market doesn't really extend past these type of levels. We need to have an extremely negative day. So, but you need to wait for some price action and then to confirm it with the DOM. It's really not easy. I wish I could give you some sort of secret sauce and how to pick bottoms and tops, but I don't. I don't have that. And we've just been hugging the VWAP bands all day as well. Like now we're seeing, buyers starting to step in, right? There's a little bit of delta coming in, but this has been happening all day today, and then there's just been absorption on the offer, and then they've just been hitting into the bid. So it's not exactly. It's just hard to trade. Well, this is it. You need to have a couple of like confluences, right? Because this is the thing. You can get a little bit, neurotic about the DOM, um, because the the DOM can move in a few ways, right? Of course, as we've discussed in previous streams. So prices down here where the market's really extended, you need to have, people that are selling need to start taking profits, because the majority of positions in a trading day don't carry over to the next day. You know what I mean? They're closed that session. So you need to think of people starting to take profits. It's really overextended for the day. You need to see like what's Delta doing. You really want to wait for the market to really break and fail a level like so. Like let me just get my line or my little. rectangle, trusted rectangle. So the market puts in a low. Now you would never, ever, ever, ever be fading this, I hope. Like this. See when the market's doing this? You shouldn't be fading this. The market then pulls back, great. If you didn't do anything long here, you would be looking to wait for a break and fail of this level, like so, and then we're then doing it again, right? But you need to have some confluence there with delta, and then you also need to wait for, you know, the likes of the Dow is at the highs, which is kind of strange. Is that right? Wow, the Dow is just not correlated at all today, is it? Jeez, oh, fucking hell. I mean, the Dow's at the high day. Fuck's sake. But it's not simple, man. I would say you need to wait for the market to be really overextended. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I'm honest with you, the simplest way to trade this price action is not to trade it. That's the simplest way. When the market's one time framing, you really need to just be looking to get short, and that's it. And if the market reverses, if the market reverses all the way up here, then well, tough shit. You'll make more money over the long term, it's not fading, sorry, going with the one time frame than you will fading against it. Yeah, exactly, DV. I mean, the trouble is I suck at trend trading, to be honest with you. It's never really been my strength, just because I feel it just doesn't be conducive to what my general setup is. I prefer balanced markets and fading back into means and averages. That's my type of price action. Um, and then I prefer if I could like not trade these days when it does this, then great, because these days don't happen very often. I mean, from open today, from the open high, let's just see how many piparoos or tickaroos it's went. So we're down 200 ticks on the day from open high of regular trading hours, which is a lot, right? It's a lot for ES anyway. And funnily enough, the markets just went below value, which is interesting. Not saying you would ever fade that, but you know, so everything's nice to look at in hindsight. And that's exactly it, TP. You're spot on. I mean, if it was me, the amount of times in my trading life I have started to fade this and just got my ass handed to me is so much more common than actually being correct. And it's all down to context. That is literally, it's literally just context. If you've been aggressively selling the whole day, right? So the market opens, we went bid, we broke, pulled back, we couldn't even crack the support level, but then absolutely dumped a topper and then pulled back and then sold off again, you know? So just been a completely bearish day, one-sided bear day. And the reason being is because when the market does this type of behavior, normally the market will reclaim that. Don't know when. I mean, if I had a crystal ball, you know, I would be doing this from the Bahamas. But when the market leaves this type of behavior, because there's no volume and value built up, when the market cracks here, you're going to see a capitulation. Because it's kind of simple. If it's easy to go up, it's easy to come back down. Are you with me? If you go and check away the massive volume days like this, it normally corrects in the next 5 trading sessions or something. Something along those lines. But no, I would definitely say you need to have a look at your stats more, because you need to be more confident in your stop loss placement, what your average winning days are and your average losing days. And once you start believing in your own data, you'll stop tilting and having really bad days. I mean, really bad days are fine, but as long as they don't go off the page, that's the key. Like that's the number one rule. Forget the winning days, man. Forget them. Once you get good at trading and you get consistent, winning days take care of themselves. You need to focus on your trading and keeping the down days manageable. The NQ is really trying here. But good questions. Good questions. I think you need to know your market conditions as well. Like that's key, right? If you prefer to fade the world, right, days when it's one time framing, you're going to get beat up. That's just how it is. I mean, it could, Trader Boy, but I mean, the thing is, there's going to need to be some really large firms that are going to need to think about that and continue. I mean, they have been selling off the whole day. And what's the chances that they just decide now? The only thing I would say that's a little bit weird is the fact that Dow's at the highs, but it's kind of sometimes runs in its own correlation. Most likely, what happens when this market does this is you just kind of consolidate for a bit. It needs to take a break. And that's it, Neil. That's it, mate. You need to control the days. So a question then instantly is, why are you giving away so much on the losing days? Just fix that. Fix that issue and you're sorted. I don't know how you need to do it, but that's what you need to do. If you realise that you're winning 4 days out of 5, and one day you're doing your arse and losing half of the week from that one day, then you just need to control your losing days. What is your average losing day? And don't let your average losing day exceed that. Do you know what I mean? And that sounds a little bit harsh, but I'm just trying to. Only you can do that, and only your own numbers can tell you that, man. And that's the key. Winning days will happen themselves. Focus on not doing your arse. That's the key. If you show up and you're a good trader and you've got a decent win rate and an edge that's better than a coin flip, and you're taking, I don't know, 1-to-1 at least, or 0.8 R or something, and you're consistently winning, but then you know when the market is not conducive to your strategy, and you know when to call it a day, or you absolutely are hard with your stops for the day, you'll do well. You don't need to win every day. I think I'll need to do a video on my own numbers at some point. Well, it's just as a very simple rule, right? If you have a green day and it's within your means of an average day, The rule should be, don't turn that into a losing day. That should just be a rule. I don't know how you need to implement that, where you need to turn into sim, like go into sim mode. I can't tell you the amount of times that I'm in a day, and after I've had a significant good day, I will do this. I will go to trade, turn on sim mode, okay. So now, if I get, trigger happy, right? If I get trigger happy, I'm going to be honest. I've walked up to the screen, taken positions, did my arse after said I'm going to win in day, and then I realised I was on sim. I was like, well done, thank you, future self. You know? Do you know what I mean? Things like that. Just put little things in place for yourself so that you don't potato. You know? Because your goal is just to not go full potato. And you guys know what I'm talking about when you go full potato. When you cannot walk away, you're like a maniac clicking the mouse. We've all been there. Everyone's done that. And then after it, you feel like a muppet. You feel terrible. You just need to try and be in a level, flow state is the key. And the only way that you're going to get to that is to make sure you're comfortable and confident in your data. I'm going to run through a video at some point with some ways to give you a confidence in data at some stage. And it's a mass. In order for you to think off the top of my head, in order for you to have like a 95% confidence in your trading, right? For numbers or a sample size of numbers, I think you need to have about 600 trades in your sample size, which is a lot. Now, in order for you to have a 70% confidence that what you're doing is not to chance, I think it's something like, well, I'll tell you actually, for the exact numbers, because I ran this through on some journaling the other day. 168 trades. So 168 trades, sample size, gives you a 70% confidence that you say got a 60% win rate. I think that was the exact numbers. There's a formula for this, for sample size. And once you start knowing the data, it massively improves your outlook on things. And you need to stop thinking of it every trade matters, because it doesn't. Think of it in the next 50 trades, or chunk it into samples. That should be the way. It's the only way you're going to do it, because if you don't do that, recency bias is a thing. Seriously. Like, for example, if you trade frequently and you take like 4 or 5 trades a day, there is no way that you're going to remember what you did last Tuesday at 2 o'clock. No chance. I can't even remember what I did yesterday. Do you know what I mean? I know I'm harping on here, but I think it's important. Well, that's exactly it, Neil. You need to start monitoring those numbers. Monitor what your max open loss is, as you said, and your max open win on that position. Get a decent journaling software. There's one in the description. I think there's a free trial and stuff like that. You can crack on with it. I think if you're using Rhythmic, you can import your stuff. I think you get a month or something free or whatever. You could try it out. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm terrible at admin. Terrible at admin. So. We are ripping at the moment, we're trying, so let's see this 44.5, so if we take it out. I can't see there been too much oomph. We've not really retested this level yet though. Hmm. How we're going to fill it? Let's see. We're going to take it all we do. Quite a volatile day today, actually. I should really do a poll. I need to start doing that in the stream. You know, to see like a poll of who had a good day and who had a bad day or whatever. It would be interesting to note um, just how the community does on certain market types or day types. Sorry. We don't seem to be stopping at the minute. Seen a nice little bit of absorb there, but two-way. Nice. Nicely done, TP buddy. That's the way to do it. No trade is sometimes better than bad trade. In fact, it's always better than a bad trade, isn't it? Nice. What market is he trading? TP, is it ES that you're executing on? We do seem to be going to the moon right now, and we've seen a lot of buying come in there actually, some size. Yes, after watch your vids. Nice. Nicely done, mate. Yeah, it makes a big difference having the correlated markets up because you can see how they're moving in tandem. And I think if you don't want to have multiple DOMs up and you find it quite cluttery, I would recommend checking out Tick Strike. There's a link to that in the description where you can get I think it's a free couple of week trial or something. Really, really good software if you don't want to have multiple DOMs up or you've not got the screen space or whatever the case may be. You can set it for size, come into the markets, especially if you're trading ES. You can put up the it's probably the best software I've used for correlations. I think it's slightly better than the Price Squawk one. It's just simpler, you know. You can make it a visual, so it's just green or green or red or blue or red or whatever colors you like. I prefer blue for buying. Um, or you can have the ticking, but if I'm honest with you, the ticking drives me insane. So I normally just have it up. Um, I normally just have it up to see what the individual equities are doing because they tend to affect the futures market, specifically NQ and ES. So as an example right now, you'll probably see some sizes coming into one of the big six to help boost this level up. It's typically how it works. But as another thing, don't, like, a lot of people are guilty with this. They tend to use treasuries and then they think, oh well, obviously the whole market is correlated. It is to a degree. But if you're trading treasuries, just use treasury correlations. If you're trading indices, just use indices correlations. Do you know what I mean? There's no point. It's like, I'm just using this as an example, but there's not going to be a correlation between lean hogs and the bloody stock market. Do you know what I mean? People tend to look for that, and I know there's a correlation between the dollar and stocks, but it tends to be an inverse correlation there. But just focus on the main market you're looking for. Yeah, no problem, Khaled. I'll speak to you later on, buddy. It's good you had a great day. It's good you had a great day today. Tomorrow, the end of another week. Weeks fly by at the moment. There we go. We'll soon find another maybe retracement. It would be classic if we go all the way back up here, wouldn't it? Surely not. This would be a good level here, to be honest. Some large orders here. The first pullback. See if we can close below here. We're also at the point of control and volume here for last month. Or the new contract, sorry. That's the right term. The buyers do seem to be grabbing this liquidity though. And you notice though that the market's just in this move up, right? There's maybe been what 3k positive delta. So in this move up here, the offer has just been pulled. We had all that negative selling to get down to the low there, and then only plus 3k to get us where we are now. It's crazy, give or take. Let me know if you guys have got any other questions. Yeah, I mean, Kyle, this is exactly it. So when the offer is pulled like that, I mean, look at this here. So the market's moved up here to 86, 51, 95, 12, 26, 44. It's just skipping through prices. So you will find that, and there's no way that you would know that without looking at some form of depth of market or, I don't know, footprint or something. But that's typically the view, is it means that the market's not moved up with any real amount of buying. I mean, I think I'm being a little bit gracious though with what is exactly here. No, I'm not. This is what the delta is. It's minus 15. So we were down, I think it was 18 when we come on stream. So in that time frame, it's basically went bid, and we've only been plus 3k. So when the offer starts to get strong, um, the market's going to stop pretty much. But good question, Kyle. That's pretty much the deal, to be honest. It gives you maybe an idea for the position. As you can see, the bid and offer is pretty weak. Not weak, it's thin. Sorry, on ES. So you get 60, 70 bids, so they can easily just pull it. So they can lift into the offer, then hit into the bid, and then the bid will just be pulled, and you're down 4 ticks. It's just a thing you need to be careful of when the market's like that. So the next stop for the buyers, they need to try and get through 55s, and then sellers need to go in here. So we can pretty much be, let me just reuse this line, copy and move. So this is the sort of range that's capped at the moment. So we need to see what they're going to do. In 55s is we're pretty much getting into the retest of this level. So we need to really break and see here if they take this or not. It's 50, or this is going to be pulled. So Scratch, I would say that technical analysis is like gives you a sort of maybe trade idea, but it has to be confirmed by order flow, to be honest. So things like we've just pushed back into the point of control. You would need to see something continuing on the DOM, for example. Like right now, they're just aggressively reloading here on this bid. So if they take this out, we should see a little push back down to 57.5s. And then we need to see how they're going to behave at this level, because as I said, we're basically capped between 55s and 57.5. But there's a lot of selling coming in right now. But order flow is the final confirmation, Scratch. Okay, so let's see if they drill through these here. Or are they going to tick off it and cap the range? Are we in for a little bit of push down continuously, or are we going to consolidate and cap? We tick into 3 and then they start lifting. Jeez. Hopefully that explained it a little bit, Cal. Yankees going. So with all this liquidity here, if sellers wanted to be pretty aggressive, they could hit into here quite hard. So that's really your sign. If they really wanted to bash it here, they could come in with a few hundred contracts and hit it to punch through these levels. and that's what you want to be seeing for this to continue to the downside at the moment, because as we will put this one in here for good measure. So here and here is pretty much the range. We're flapping around in here, and then the 55s is where sellers are probably hold. And it's funny that we tick right down and then we now faff around in a 6 ticks range around where they're setting. Do you know what I mean? Hey, here we go. Let's see if we can take out 52.5. We should see a little pop above. Still holding it. I don't know why I'm so surprised that they can hold it, you know, in these ranges like this. NQ's going. It's trying. See the reloading there on the bed. Trying to pop here. Let's see if they can hit it. It's a bit of a battle here. Looks like we're gonna try and go up and test these 55s, but we need to clear 53s first. Do you notice here that, you know, every single price, it's not exactly moving very clean, is it? Struggling at every price at the moment. Let me see. Yeah, VWAP will be somewhere in here, isn't it? I can just tell you where it is. There it's there. So it's kind of, volume seems to be dead right now. I still fancy it at the moment to, we're at a sort of choppy bit at the moment. We're at the monthly POC now for this For the new rollover contract per se, I wouldn't say that means any massive difference considering it's rolled over, but still, it is a level. And of course now we're in this sort of low volume area just coming up. So if we do smash through here, it should go through here pretty quickly. But we need to get through here first. That's why you're probably seeing sellers defending this level. There we go, looks like the bid's been pulled. Look at that. This is the bid pulled. So what this looks like. We just skipped like 6-7 ticks there in a heartbeat. But again, we're now back in the range. Right, we need to crack 57.5s. Until we do something like that, there's not really much happening. If you guys could hit the like button for me, that would be great. Much appreciated. Let me know if you've got any questions about what you're seeing. Market looks to be taking a little breather. We need to break 52.5s and then take it at 55s for the upside. And we need to crack 47.5s to the downside, which we've got loads of liquidity down there. So we'll see. Right now, they are gearing up to go one way or the other. Okay, let's see them punch through. Here we go, let's see. I think you can pop here, I see they're trying. They just take the full 50 there. Let's see. Whereabouts is he talking about, Kel? Do you mean the offer is absorbing right now, or do you mean buyers are absorbing the selling? I mean, buyers need to crack through here. Sellers are trying, to be honest. There's a bit of negative delta and buyers are just gobbling it up at the moment. If we can pop through here, we need to see if we can punch through this low volume area to VWAP and into sort of 50 55s. But it's happening at a snail pace at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we need to really punch here, to be honest. If we punch through here, there's been so much selling that there's going to be a little mini blip through price. If we can punch through here, there's a little low volume area coming up. Seen in the profile here. So we can see if we can punch through here, and then we need to try and get through 55s. But yeah. Yeah, I think they do. But you can see though that there is a ton of you're right, basically the bid has just been absorbed. It's all very well doing that, but they need to start punching it. Um, I mean, if I was going, not really, no, because the only way I would go long is if it's something like we went down here, swept this out, and instantly snapped back, and then I got to use below here as my stop or something. That would make sense, and then I could maybe get to target like 15 ticks back up to the range. That would be an idea. Because if the problem is if you're buying long here expecting the pop, you've not really got that much upside. You're just coming up to this retest of resistance. You've got VWAP there. You know what I mean? So you're definitely going to see. So the market's never just going to go through here and then just blast through this, and clear this high. You're gonna have at least some form of pullback. And with how thin the book is, they could bang it here, fill these orders, and then instantly the bid could be pulled, for example. So let's see how they do it. And there's not that pop that I was expecting. It's just yeah. So these 55s are really racking up now. A bit of two-way trade here. They just pulled that 200 there. And then they pulled the 50. Wow. That is just manipulation at its finest, isn't it? Hate to say it, man, but that 50 was sitting there for a while as well. Wow. Two spoofs in a couple of minutes. Oh, I mean, you need to think of the. There we go. There's the pop. You need to think of the upside. So my instant thoughts of like I was expecting some sort of pop to happen to go up and fill that, but the trouble is you buy it, then you're going to go up and fill that. But in the meantime, they could go all the way down here, and you're left holding the bag. Do you know what I mean? And your upside is pretty much they're going to go here. You're probably going to get filled there, but you don't know the downside. And then when they go up and fill here, you never know, they could start pulling the bid and then you're all the way back down here. It's just hard to define your risk. The trouble is, I find with with playing this sort of stop plays, you need to be right quickly. When you're sort of buying breakouts or selling breakouts, you need to be right quickly. And the timing is really important, because if it goes, you're in the money, but if it doesn't, you're in trouble. Because this type of behavior is what I was meaning is, if you're buying the breakout, you need to be out here, and then they could start pulling the bid. All they need to do, if we clear this, you see the bid is not exactly stacked massively, is it? So if sellers start hitting in aggressively, before we know it, we're back in this range. Do you know what I mean? So you just need to think of the downside first. You should be thinking of the downside before you get into trade anyway. Should be your rule. No, I don't think so, Neil, because they do that much volume. It's almost like a ratio, right? And we would do the exact same thing. Let's not be kidded. So, I mean, these numbers are arbitrary, right? But say you're a market making firm and you do 1,000 trades a day. Again, these numbers are arbitrary. I'm not saying they do 1,000. They'll do a lot more than 1,000. But say they do 1,000 trades a day, right? And they'll probably have some guidelines that they have to commit to X amount of orders, and they can have X amount of cancels. I'm not saying it's exactly as black and white as that, but they'll have a rough idea for being in the business for so many years that what is taking the piss and what is not. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, as an example, you can maybe have, again, numbers are arbitrary, you can probably have 5% of your trades, cancelled or something, right? Just as a ratio. So as long as you're meeting a quota and you're trading enough size, as long as you're not cancelling an absolute ridiculous amounts of your trades with something that's so obvious like that Navinda Saral guy that was probably cancelling 99% of them. Do you know what I mean? There's a big difference there. So on the time when they're flashing the book like that, right, and they're flashing, they do it to help their current position, and it's really one of two ways. They either do it to get a couple of extra ticks, right, because they're actually working the offer, and they do it to test the selling strength as well. So just as a rough idea, what you could think of doing is you flash buying here, which means people are going to, other algorithms are going to quickly stack up here. You can then lift into the offer a little bit, or other people do. It gets you an extra couple of ticks, right? Or if they aggressively take your 100 lot that you've just flashed, you can say, okay, the sellers are still quite strong here, so I now maybe should start getting out of my longs and flip. Do you know what I mean? There's a ton of reasons why they'll be spoofing. It's not just because they feel like it. They'll be doing it to test the liquidity in the book, and they'll be doing it to get an extra couple of ticks out of the trade. Because you need to think of, if say they place 100 lot here, right? Those two prices above there will stack a little bit more because they know they've got a strength below them. Do you know what I mean? So they could be doing that because they're actually trying to work in the offer, so they want to get out up here. And then you'll maybe notice that once they get filled up here, they'll then start hitting into the bid if that wasn't taken, because they know the bid is weak. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There are seeing how they behaved at 57.5s. But do you notice how they do it? It's like, so now they're pulling the bid. They're hitting in, and the bid is going to be pulled. We're right now back in the range. But you notice how they fill out the liquidity that was required, and then it's just back in the range. It's all they're doing. They're just going from like liquidity pool to liquidity pool, pretty much, just to get orders filled. That's all they're doing. I feel we see this a lot on stream, but you know, it's the same. It's the same stuff. Let's see how they do. The next target for sellers is they're probably going to start working 47.5s, start working down here. Is going to be the target. Let's see how quickly they get down there. Looks like at the moment they want to get down there pretty quickly. Yeah, 100%. I think the sellers are going to, the first thing is they're going to try and get down here to like 48s, 49s. They've just actually taken away that in the book. See that again? They've just pulled those orders. Here we go. Completely different action now. It's just a train, and they did that after filling the liquidity. Now they're down here. Fuckers, man. Ticked right off 45 3/4. Let's see if they can look at all this planting down here as well. I think we could be going down, boys and girls. How much are they going to drive it? That's the question. NQ. NQ is up like 40 ticks. Honestly. You find it incredible though that how they take it down to 45 3/4 and tick 12 and then go off it. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like they have a code of conduct. It's almost like they have a code of conduct where they're like, other algorithms, when you see 50s flashing, that's the target, right? So we then all flip to working the bid after that. Do you know what I mean? It's like they've done that because they did it up here as well. Okay, here we are. Let's see if we can crack. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of selling that's coming in at the moment. I think if they, we'll see what happens if we crack 45 3/4 here. But there is a lot of selling coming in. I mean, we've pretty much seen about 1,000 contracts just absorbed at these three prices here in the last couple of minutes. But yeah, back in the range again. Right back in the middle of the range now. Chopperoo. I'm hoping that we see some direction here. You know, I want to see some, you know, a break of the lows or back into value. I hope we don't just consolidate, you know, around about this area for the next like hour and a bit. There's a lot of selling coming in at the moment, but the selling is not really moving price, is it? You know, we've just made a low in delta today, and yet we're, you know, so buyers are clearly absorbing. So if you've got two main, you know, I would say trade ideas with this is if sellers get tired and they're aggressively hitting into the bid, and the buyers are like, num 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 num, you know, which basically means they're just gobbling up all of the trades, right? All of these sellers, whereabouts are they going to get out? Do you know what I mean? Because if they cannot crack, just say even 45 and three quarters with hitting a low in delta, they need to get out somewhere. So if buyers start to get aggressive, the sellers are going to have to puke. So I would just bear that in mind. But they're all obviously buyers can absorb, but on the other side, if sellers really get aggressive, there's only so much they can absorb, right? Hope you guys liked my Cookie Monster analogy for absorption. Hopefully you'll remember it easier. I've lost the plot. That's what happens when you look at depth of markets all day. So we're trying. Let's see if we can crack through it. Pac-Man. Yes. So basically, if sellers do not crack these levels with the amount of aggression that's coming in, there's going to be a turning point where buyers start lifting into the offer, and then these sellers will need to liquidate, and obviously they'll need to start, rethinking their lives when it gets to like 51s, and then they really, really need to start, rethinking when price gets to like 54s and 56s. But as of right now, it looks like there's a little bit of balance, to be honest. Sellers are the one being the aggressor, but buyers are happy to absorb right now. I mean, look at all of that. There's been like 1800 contracts negative, from 47 and a quarter to 45 and three quarters, and yet we've not cracked. So there's been tons of absorption in these prices down here. Yeah. It's kind of to be expected though, because I mean the day has been so negative so far. And typically when the theme of the day is selling, there normally needs to be something to change it, to be honest. Okay, we're at this level. Let's see if buyers can hold again. They are holding though at the moment. You do have a little bit of a feeling here though that if they start really lifting into the offer here, the sellers could be in a bit of trouble, right? Because we pretty much have a divergence going on right now. Yeah, exactly. You're right. And at the end of the day, limit is limit orders are typically the big boys just absorbing. But negative 20k delta is a lot. It's not very often you see this much selling and the market not moving, to be honest with you. Like, see if this absorption wasn't here right now. If this absorption was not here, this would be an absolute washout day. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting to think about that actually. But maybe they're told, you need to absorb this. Because look at all this selling, man. If whoever was on the tap right now, if they turned off that tap on the bids, this would be we would be in absolute free fall right now. Well, I think what he was meaning, scalper, is typically the big boys a lot of the time are the ones that are playing the book and limit prices. At the end of the day, the market moves by market orders, right? At the end of the day. So there is that, but then there is the view right now that the amount of aggressive selling that's happening right now, and we're in a range. Normally you don't see this. Normally it's you know, there's just nothing really happening, and it's just the bid and the offer being pulled just to move around prices in the cap a range. You don't normally see such aggressive selling just being absorbed up, because it's taken a lot of selling to get the market where it is. Whereas we moved up, you know, from the lows here, and there was not really a lot of buying to get there. Here we go. Let's see if they can crack. I mean, there's only so long they can continue this absorption, right? It has to go one way or another. The momentum certainly is for selling at the moment. No, I agree. I agree. I'm with you. With you exactly. So here we go. So there's so much selling momentum. If they do crack here, I would like to see it sell off massively. Because out of the times we've streamed, we don't normally see such one-sided action. You know, this is interesting. And if we do crack through here, I feel like we're going to go. Hey Louis, how's it going, buddy? Nope, I'm pretty much done for the session, to be honest. I traded treasuries earlier on today. Had a good session. We ran over at the start of the stream. I think we made like 8 ticks on the 10-year, 5 or 6 on the 30-year, and about 2 or 3 on the ultra. So it was a good day. Oh yeah, I suppose so. They would probably need to machine gun in, you know, smaller clips, to be honest. But I think if they don't, if sellers don't take this, it's going to be painful for them, to be honest. Be interesting to see how much negative delta we can actually get to, to be honest. Let's see if we can. Look at this delta here. It's crazy. It's not very often you see this in the market not dumping. Hey, mainly, how's it going, mate? So treasuries, you're pretty much want to be at the screen. I'll do it in US time, and you can compare. So you want to be at the market, I would say, from 7 a.m. Central Time US. I think that's the correct time. I mean, I'm in the UK, So it's normally 12:30, 1:30 p.m. Market opens about 1:20, 1:30 p.m. For treasuries, you want to be there for about an hour and a half before. So sometimes you can get some good moves a couple hours before the market open in bonds and treasuries, and then I trade about 30 minutes after the open for like a couple of hours, and that's typically me. Treasuries are completely different. Like after 1 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. tops. If there's not any news coming out, the market pretty much just stays in like a 5 tick range or something. No problem, Louis. What ones have you been watching? I'll continue putting out videos for everyone, no problem. My objective here is to try and shorten everyone's learning curve. You know, that's the main objective. Been doing this for a long time, and the one thing I can't teach everyone is screen time, so you need to put the time in yourself. I can sort of give you the right mindset and perception that you need to have to the market, but you need to spend the time doing it yourself, and there's nothing like experience, you know. That's like any other profession, you know, you need to this is very much of a learn on the job type of occupation. You need to put your time in like anything. And despite there being lots of content on it online, there's not a handbook to tell you what not to do, what to do. You've got to learn by trial and error yourself. And the first thing you've got to do is get a market that suits you. And I would advise you to try different markets, because you don't know what you don't know, right? Especially when you're relatively new to trading or trading order flow. You need to figure out mainly, does the market conducive to your trading style? And by trading style, do you typically fade moves or do you go for breakouts? What's your style? Do you like action? Do you like the market always to be moving? Are you happy with big swings? What's your risk profile? You know, I've got a video on there like which future market should you trade. We cover that. A lot of the time, the more volatile markets have got a thinner book, so you need to have wider stops. The flow is harder to read, so and typically the more volatile markets, the worse the tick to commission ratio is as well. So it all depends, I can't tell you what market you should be trading. You need to figure that out yourself. I can tell you you're better. I know it's hard to recommend. I don't know everyone, so I don't know what it would be. But I can tell you, for me as a person, uh, I'm relatively risk averse. I would rather not have large down days, and my up days be capped, so it's a consistent. I come in to work per se. And I know what my downside is, and I know what my upside is, and I tend to not vary too much within a deviation of that. Sometimes I have a bad day, but it's not a shocker. Sometimes I have a good day, but it's not, again, like a holy smokes, I've just made like a month's returns in a day or something. That's not going to happen, seriously. So it's just all these things you need to factor in. And over the years, I've just much more preferred to keep things consistent. And I take that outlook from how I used to play a lot of cash poker many years ago, and it's very much like cash poker for some markets that you can trade, where you grind it out every day. And by grinding out, I don't mean you're sitting at the charts all day. I mean you've got your set hours, you know where you're at, and you take what the market gives you, and that's how it is. Sorry, I just went off on a rant there, so I forgot what the market was doing. Hopefully that made sense. Neil, I'll answer you in a second, Louis, but Neil, that is it. Like the number one thing I could advise everyone to do is fuck the updates, right? Forget about them. Your goal tomorrow, we are dumping right now, let's see. I mean, there's so much selling here though. Your goal should be just not to lose money. Because if you focus on that, the byproduct of trading well and controlling your risk is putting up green days. You know, I have way more green days. Normally, I would have, I think my exact setup is like 80% green days, right? So I win a lot. So typically when days go bad, you need to get very good at controlling your downside, you know, and that needs to be you cap it with hard stops, or you limit the amount of contracts, or you just have some rules in place because you never know. You never know what tomorrow will bring. So you need to start every day fresh. Just because you had a good day the day before doesn't mean you can come in all gung ho the next day and go all in or increase your size or whatever. Because it's Sod's law. The time that you decide to increase your size is the time that just you do your arse. It's not the way to do it. Keep yourself in check, man. And that's one of the main reasons why I like treasuries, to be honest with you, because the ranges are not that massive, and if I have a bad day, it's not wild. I lose like 300-400 quid or something. So sorry, Lee. So how to trade order flow absorption sweeps and how to trade order flow chain examples. Understand you need to do it yourself, but getting the order flow when it works is super important. Exactly, Louis. That's the thing. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, dude. It's not Lewis. Or is it Louis? Hopefully I'm pronouncing it okay. I love it when someone asks you that and you're typing. You're like, how am I meant to? How am I meant to to say how you pronounce it? But okay, we're going. But yeah, good you found it helpful, dude. Good you found it helpful. The ones I've put out recently are more related to treasuries because the concepts are kind of the same for other markets, but they're not as clear. It's not as treasuries are far clearer just because it happens over a tick, and it's much easier on the eyes to see it over a tick. I mean, this has just been one-way traffic right now, isn't it? I mean, it truly is. Look at the amount of selling. Jesus Christ. Here we go. The buyers are like, we can't hold it anymore. Wow. This could end in a quite volatile day today. But let me know if you guys have got any other points. I went off on a tangent there, as usual. Jeez, oh. This is the most amount of selling I've seen in a while of a day. Negative 22k delta now. Going to pop this in the yeah, the firms seem to like it, don't they? Great. I'm just going to pop this in chat for anyone that wants to support the channel. I know a lot of the peeps in the chat already support us, which is greatly appreciated. I'll just pin it. If you'd like to support the channel, it's much obliged. But I'm hoping we have an hour, about an hour 10, an hour, I think it's actually an hour on the dot, to be honest. An hour on the dot for the volume right now, so hopefully we can do something crazy and end like a way down here, you know? Big day, end up in the news type day, that would be great. Somehow I don't think so. Somehow I do not think so. We'll probably do a nice little sweep and then end the day back in value or something. Ah, boo, we're tracing. It's quite a janky regular trading hours profile today, isn't it? We're pretty much just about to turn here into the point of control. So what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to end the consolidation here? Or do you think when the volume goes in the next hour we're going to cut the lows? Or do you think we're pretty much going to end where we are but we're going to create some shenanigans like to go down, take the low, go up, take the high and finish? What do we all think? Let's get a vote. If I knew how to do polls pretty easily I would do it. Can I create a poll? Simply. Me. But yeah, put a H in the chat if you think we're going to go back into value. You know, at the highs, or if you think we're going to finish lower on the day, like take out the lows. It'd be interesting to see what people's thoughts are as a general consensus. We'll do a Mr. OrderFlow tilt. We're just going to steal that from one of the prop firms, which is a fantastic setup, by the way. Has anyone ever thought about checking out that tilt meter that Top Step has and just fading it? I mean, if you know that 90% of people in that book are failing and they've got a tilt meter that tells you the long and short positions, surely if they're all long, you would just short the market. do you know what I mean? Or am I being pretty cynical there? Yeah, I think we'll do something like that as well, Trader Boy, but it looks like we're just going to be consolidating. Look at this delta. It's going to the pits. When was the last time, we're obviously suffering from recency bias here, but when was the last time that you'd seen this much selling? I remember there was was it in December? I know December's a while away, but a while ago. But there was an absolute almighty dump in, was it December time? I think it was towards the end of last year. There was an absolute almighty dump. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I don't know if anyone has access to that. It may even be worth. I don't know if anyone can get access to that Top Step X. I know it's peanuts a month. Maybe worth even just to see how accurate it is. Because if they're telling you the book is like 70% short, ES or something, you might as well just go long. Do you know what I mean? Because first thing, the order flow tools and people that probably have got experience in trading are not using Top Step X. They're most likely using candle stuff. Not that I'm knocking people that just use candlesticks, but I think typically more experienced traders tend to go towards order flow just because you've been around the block a little bit more in trading. We don't tend to get people that are really, really, really green on this channel. Sometimes when there's nothing wrong with people that are green and new to it, but this is not the type of channel where we tell you what a candlestick is. Do you know what I mean? Where we almost assume that you've been through that. We're pretty niched up here. Uh, we're like in our own little we're in our own little niche and segment within the tubes. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's kind of the way I look at it. I'm not going to start posting stuff about like this is a doji candle. You know, when you see a doji candle on the 5 minute chart, you press buy and go to the beach. Yeah, me too. Well, that's it. Create. They had to normally when you have. Let me go to the left here. These days are always corrected. I can't tell you when, but they are normally corrected, and there's just no value built up here. If we go back to that day, that was the day that we had up in the stream, and there was just no pullbacks. It was pretty much just a straight line, seen by the profile here. And when the market breaks these levels and it just dumps because there's not been any value, so all we're doing right now is correcting and basically trading out this area to fill it out. And as you said, create the market just can't go in a straight line forever. As much as everyone likes to think, it would be great if it could, it can't. People need to take profits. Sellers come in, buyers get exhausted, the face dies, new data points come out. Do you know what I mean? But that's just generally the rule. The way that I view big days like this, I mean, look at this day, just outrageous behavior. So this day, my general view is after a ridiculous day, one way or another. The next day is normally a balance day, and I call it a break day, where the market is like, geez, like I really went nuts yesterday, so I need to chill out. And then you'll typically find the market needs to have some data, and the data will then either drive it up or drive it down from there. But normally this has to be corrected before we then go up and take a bid. You know, generally that's the way that I view it, just as a correction. Selling in April. Nice, trader boy. Oh no, sorry. Green, people that are green just means like new, like naive to the market, for example. It is typically what it means. Yeah, like new. Sorry, I probably should have clarified that. I'm using my terminology, and I realise that's potentially a UK phrase, maybe. I don't know. But yeah. But yeah, no. If you're green, obviously means like stay green is it means profitable, of course. But if you're to use it in the context of like that person's pretty green to that, it just means they're relatively new. And this is the thing, mate. I'm not slating anyone that's new. Like everyone has to start somewhere. But I'm just meaning that there's so much content already on YouTube, uh, to tell you these things. But the trouble is, people, um, a lot of YouTubers and stuff, they make out as if this is so easy. You know, do you think it's going down, Brian boy? I think we're going to chop around here. We've got 45 minutes till the volume starts to come in. Well, 34 minutes to be exact. Yeah, yeah, we're seeing Delta kind of stable off a little bit. Create. Yeah, we built a really good community, which was actually the main objective of doing this was, having a community of uh, some nice people to trade with and learn and just take away the mundane stuff of trading because we do this for so long. Like this is the thing when you find your niche in trading and you get consistent with it, it's pretty boring. You know, when you start doing it for years, it's it's not as when you first start, you're like, oh yes, I can't wait to look at the markets and stuff. When you do it for years, it's like any other job, you know, or uh, or side hustle that you do, or whatever which way you view it. So this is to try and take away some of the mundane stuff, and it's nice to meet some cool people. I mean, we're still trying to go down at the moment. This would be interesting when I said this before, but when you have a really one-sided delta day, it's going to be pretty interesting to check what the open interest is of the next day, just because it's so one-sided. But let me know if you guys have got any other questions. Well, hopefully we'll begin to to grow, and we're ultimately looking to try and make a splash in the order flow scene. Because I really felt that there was not a huge amount of information on order flow on the YouTube, especially years ago. It's just dudes sharing their DOMs. There's some ones that don't even talk on it. I like it that you guys are always open and you ask loads of questions, which is good. Yeah, it's going to be a day tomorrow, isn't it? I feel I've had a really good week this week. So I'll see how the price action is in the morning. Regarding right, okay, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've found. I mean, I know there's maybe a couple of dudes that talk about the. Well, I know when I was starting this years ago, there wasn't really much stuff, and I still feel that there's a lot of. I'm not calling anyone out with this, but I just feel the general sentiment that seems to be in YouTube is, hey, I've got this content, check it out, and by the way, go to this prop firm. Do you know what I mean? That seems to be the general setup, and I'm not having a dig at anyone. I think that prop firms are now pretty much taking control of the low, the sort of, we'll call it below 10k retail account. They've pretty much gobbled up that industry, prop firms. Um, but as long as you get value from whatever YouTube stuff you watch, whether you're watching some people for entertainment purposes, you're watching them to learn, you're watching it because you enjoy the community, whatever the case may be. As long as you get value out of it, that's the main thing. But yeah, that seems to be the thing. And to be honest with you, I've not got my. I don't know. I've just not got that in me, to be honest. To do that, I would rather provide value to the community than. And I can maybe understand as a facility for myself to maybe get a kickback from some of the products that I use, um, that I can vouch for and put my name to and stuff. But not with prop firms, because majority of the time people fail these firms. They're not they're not really in it for your, like, these firms don't give a shit about you. You know that's the harsh reality of it, man. Like, you're just another number to them, and as soon as you start making money from them, they're like, oh shit, let's put you into an environment so we can cap our losses. Or in Neil's case, they probably try and sabotage. It just seems a bit. Going off a tangent here. It seems a bit sus that Apex are using Rhythmic, right? Yet there's tons of other firms that use Rhythmic, and Apex is the only one that's having issues. Oh, we're dumping here. Seems a bit weird because if Rhythmic is going to have the one API, it's not like they're going to have an API. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand that. It's not that they're going to have an API um, specifically for Apex. That's not how APIs work. You connect into it and you maybe segregate them off, but still. I don't know if it's the data side actually, because you know if you use your own data feed, that's one of the main things I would probably suggest, is to make sure and get your own data feed, so that you're using the same one for your own data for your personal accounts as your prop, or vice versa, whatever which way. Let's see how we react to this 100 lot. Let's see if we're going to take it. This is now dumping pretty hard. I mean, look at the selling. This is just absolute one-sided. I agree, Neil. I agree, buddy. I agree. Majority of the stuff you see, there's so many strategies. That's the trouble. You know what I mean? Like as long as people trade something that suits them, that's the main thing. You know, people find something that works for them, then great. But I just think drawing rectangle supply and demand zones without context of the day and stuff, you know. I feel like a lot of the time it's a bit like the blinded and the blind. Do you ever guys ever get that sort of setup? No, trader boy, I certainly do not have a code or whatever that is. I mean, the one that I was actually hoping to at least get a kickback on was Sierra Charts, and they pulled their affiliate program. So, gosh. But I can understand promoting that because I've used it for years. So I would be happy to put my name to it, but they don't even offer anything. So all of the chart books and stuff that I assist people with, and you know, and I'm more than happy to help people and things. And the thing as well, man, streaming is I don't know, it's pretty hard. As I said, I get into this gig here to try and kind of, I suppose, assist people, you know, and try and help because I was just it took me a long time to do it, and it's a great endeavor to get involved in trading, but it's hard, and I think if I can help someone get that little bit closer to, you know, shaving their learning curve and making it a bit easier for them to get to profitability, then great. But courses and stuff, I think out of all the courses you'll take, it's different. It's different. Getting coaching, that's a completely different scenario because typically then it's like that's just a completely different scenario. I think look at the absorption happening here. Wow, it's about 2 weeks on. The trading courses you'll take, majority of the time you're only going to retain 10% of it. You know. But I think with regards to coaching, it's the same concept as to like when you go to the gym, you get a personal trainer, someone that's got experience, that's done it, keeps you on the right track and helps push everything forward, keeps accountability, you know, and works on your edge with you. Um, but that's the thing is that's completely different to me selling a course for like $50 or $90 or whatever and showing you right here. Here's a triangle, guys. Not even sorry, not even a I can't even. So if I was to say sell a course for what do you call it? I don't know, $50 and say right here's a rectangle. When the market comes down here, and you see there's a divergence, you buy. Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel a lot of the time. A lot of the time happens. To be honest, to be relatively cynical about it, but do you know what I mean? Hey, some buying, woohoo! Oh, oh, scalper, the tilt indicator, nice one. Right, so what? Give me some numbers. What percentage of the tilt indicator was short? Give me some numbers. Is it so one-sided at like 70-80%? Because I'm not joking. If that thing dumps like that, and all those people in the tilt indicators like 8% short, you just get the house, you know, the dog, and all your belongings, and just go long. I'm only joking. uh, but yeah, what's the split on that? Yeah, minus 25k delta on a day. And we're not even really. I mean, it's down, but nothing crazy. Scalper, so give me some numbers. Sorry, are you basically saying that tilt indicator was like 80% short? Is that what we're referring to here? So Neil, basically the tilt indicator in Top Step X gives you a the tilt indicator basically, as far as I'm aware, on Top Step X, it gives you a live feed on what the book is doing, if it's long or short, for everyone that's using Top Step X. So if it's 80% short, if it's 80% selling NQ, it'll show 80% NQ short, 20% long. And generally speaking, that indicator, that tool, is a fantastic way for you to fade. And the premise of it is because majority of people that trade fail, especially in prop firms. It's a relatively cynical way to do it, but oh, is that it? Oh, it's not. Tilt is measuring only funded traders, not eval. Okay, that's not as interesting. Pardon me, Brian. I've never heard of Blue Step at all. But to be honest, with even we know ourselves that the eval and funded traders on there, majority of the time, are kind of the same thing. Majority of people don't get payout, you know, typically. Yeah, that's a good point. That's really true. I never really thought about it like that. No, you can just go all in 2 trades and get lucky, can't you? That's a really good point. So that's the consensus. It's basically a market sentiment of prop firms. This actually not in a live environment, so it won't affect the market, but it gives you an idea. Put it this way: if I was Top Step, I would have built that so I could hedge the book. Seriously, that would be the reason why I would do that. Like if the book was net short 60%, and I know that I make, or I would potentially hedge off, like 10-20% of that, just so I'm cutting my exposure. That would be why that would have been built, to be honest. And it's quite a nice tool, but if you were a critical thinker, surely your thought process is to fade that, right? I mean, I'm not the only one thinking that. Like, surely that's what everyone thinks. Surely. No one is going to look at that and think, oh, the 65% long, I'm going to go long too. Really? Tell you, Scalper, maybe you can get them to do a feature request in there for the evals too. We really wanted to see the true transparency of the valuation too, please. Wait a wee second. You can see the average fill price. No way. Oh, that is great. So wait, you're telling me that, for example, if they were net short here, you can better believe that the stops are going to be up here. So the market's going to go up here and then go back in the range. Ah, classic. And now they're all DCing in. Oh no, it must go back down. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize it was that defined, man. To be honest, I was a little bit harsh when Top Step X came out. Like they were literally giving it away for free, and it's a bit, it's a bit harsh. I don't really have a plan in promoting prop firms or anything, so I can pretty much just say what I want, I suppose. but you couldn't pay me to use that. Like if they gave that away for free, I still wouldn't use it. It's a bit harsh, but when you get really used to a platform, you get really used to it. But yeah, you might get that just for the indicator, honestly. How many people are using that platform, Scalper? Do you have an idea? What's the number? Is that public knowledge? Like what's the you know what I mean? So 239, so 39. Wait, what? Well, I think it's probably more than that, Neil. Could be more than that. Are you talking about NQ, Scalper, here? Or yes? What's the average long on ES? And I think majority of traders on that, they trade NQ, don't they? Right. So you're talking 39s. So they're long from right, we'll just call it here. Here. Here, right? So they're absolutely underwater right now. If this closes below, yeah. And 45s basically on ES. So the long 45s here. Yep. Interesting. Okay, now watch this go down. We've got a live feed here into where the average price is. This is interesting. I love how there's a there's an MBO order below their entry. It's funny. Does it tell you the number of orders or the number of contracts, Scalper? I'm curious about that. Does it tell you the number of contracts now? Not yet. Put that feature request in or something. That would be great. Not that it makes any difference because it's not a live environment anyway. It's all fake, but you know what I mean. This is look at the amount of negative selling. Oh, this is just dumping. Oh no, my orders. Oh god. That could probably give you quite a lot of confidence in your trading, couldn't it? If you knew the amount of traders, try and see if you can find out the amount of people using that platform, mate. Get your detective hat on. Because if there's a lot of traders using that, it's a good sample size, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? If it's only a couple of thousand traders, I don't know if that's enough. Or is it? Potentially. Yes, there's loads of people here, buddy boy. We don't do handouts in here, buddy. There's no free lunches. Sorry, dude. There's no free lunches in here, man. Chill out. Put you in a little timeout, dude, for just stop asking for money. How's about that? Cool. More than happy to come in and learn, dude, and jump the community, but there's no free lunches, man. We've all lost enough money in the markets over time. Happy to think of constructive ways that we can help you, but not that, my friend. No, it's no problem, dude. No problem. Blisky, not even. What are you referring to, Scalper? Well, that's my thoughts, to be honest, Scalper. I'm trying to build up a good series for people to sort of, have a one-stop shop for OrderFlow, because it's hard. Out with putting in screen time, it's hard to come up. I'm trying to think what I need to cover, to be honest. I know a lot of people have been requesting value area rotations and so on for volume areas, so I need to do something like that. That could be quite a good idea, but it'd be good for you guys to let me know what you'd like to see in the DOM. We've covered absorptions and sweeps. We've covered steps in the profile. We've covered absorption and backticking. We've done some live trading. Let me know. I need some ideas for what you guys would like to see. Well, the thing is, dude, I would recommend this is futures. So the one thing I would suggest to you about futures versus CFDs and Forex is futures is a much more level playing field. There is no spread. Okay? Well, that's not exactly true. There's no spread in thick markets, so you don't. If you limit in a trade, like say for example you limit in here, right? You're not offside instantly. Whereas in some spreads, in some CFD brokers or prop firms that you'll be trading with, when you take a trade, you're wildly offside, and you pay commission, and they can widen the spreads. It's a completely different. It's like a different ball game. So I would advise you to, check the countries, like check the countries that with prop firms that you can go to for futures and start to get involved. You can pretty much start a combine these days with a prop firm for like $16, man. It's not a lot of money. You can start it. Now I appreciate you know, 16 bucks for a certain economies is a lot, but you can grind enough to that and do odd tasks, but you need to be able to be profitable before you do that, dude. And there's a lot of videos on the channel so that you can spend the time, go on sim, you know, get proficient at it and work on your edge, you know, because really right now, even if you had the chance to go live in a prop firm, do you think you would be ready to take a chance at it? If the answer to that is no, you need to spend more time learning. There's no rush, man. The market's not going to go away. It'll be there tomorrow and the next day, well, Monday, the next day is Saturday. But you know, the market's not going anywhere, so take your time. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. And that's another thing too, man. You need to come up with a plan. Like if you're to get money right now, uh, and you put it into the market, you're going to lose it. Seriously. If you're revenge trading or whatever, it's not, you're not in the right frame of mind. Can you tell me over a significant sample size that you have an edge that is better than a coin flip? Because if you don't, there is no point trading. You need to work on that. I'm not being harsh. That's just the truth. You need to sit on sim. You need to spend time. You need to read. You need to study. And also as well, I would advise you to get out of the forex game and get into futures. The reason being is it's a centralized exchange. What you're seeing on the charts right now, everyone is seeing the same thing in futures. Everyone that's on this channel that's got order flow charts up is seeing the same bid and the same ask. Right? When you were trading with, I don't know, just random CFD broker versus another one, the prices are different. There's no order flow. The volume is not reliable. It's not centralized. They can widen the spreads. The commissions are different. The swaps to hold overnight are completely different. You know, I know I'm laboring on here, but there's so many negatives to trading it, to be honest. So you need to bear all that in mind and give yourself a fighting chance, you know. But for the love of God, if you do get Benjis and you do get some money, don't blow it. It's a lot harder to make money than it is to spend it, dude. I'm ranting here. So, Brian, anyway, you're just doing scalping purely off a DOM as a matter of interest? Yes. So, I have these up for the stream, but when I trade treasuries, I basically check, you know, market profile when the session starts, mark out the key levels on the DOM, and I have some key notes done in the DOM, like I have the current day's value area high, value area lows, yesterday's point of control and stuff. I have all that marked out in the DOM, and I have the 4 DOMs up for treasuries, and I basically just trade that. Okay, the volume's going in 30 seconds, so buckle up, dudes and dudettes. You've key chart zones and closely follow order flow at these levels. I'm watching order outside these levels. Does it truly have fuel and price action? Yes, exactly. Order flow, wow, look at there we go. There's the volume as expected. Let's get some movement going. it's as close as you're getting to the, inverted commas, holy grail. But you need to understand the, all the context of the day, and just the hard thing about it is it's really there's a lot of discretion, and the discretion comes with, the skill set and experience. That's the hard part about it. Here we go. Screen time, that's exactly the one. So we are seeing a little bit of buying coming in. See if we can take it. Oh really? How did you know that, Neil? Have you seen it before? Wow. Oh, there's me trying to be a nice dude. Shocking it isn't even trading as well. C'est V. Market's out whack a little bit here. NQ's catching up now. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Good spots. To be honest, I wasn't giving him any money, but right. Let's see if we can break VWAP here. We have 10 mementos. Right, I see. Well, I mean that's the thing. I suppose if oh, I don't know, man. Life must be pretty grim if you need to do that. That's for sure. Good luck to the guy, man. Right, this is ranging at the minute. Wonder if we're going to break out or do something, or we're just going to finish here. Oh, I agree. It's best just if anyone asks for money, you don't get any free lunches in life, sadly. So let's see what the volume happens in 5 minutes, or 4 minutes to be exact. We have market on close, algo time coming in. I don't know if anyone's getting our questions. Yeah, that's a good point. I suppose I need to be a little bit more ruthless with that dude. I just need to ban them rather than giving them a chance, to be honest. I can tell you one thing, I certainly wasn't giving them any money, that's for sure. Yeah, the VWAP I have, Kyle, is for the full session. Slightly different, I think. Let's see if we can sell off here. There we go. It's no longer there anymore. You have some Sierra chart questions, but I send tomorrow, market closing. Oh yeah, no problem, dude. Ask the questions tomorrow, my dude. Yeah, no problem. No problem. That's what I get for being too nice. Too nice and one good, to be honest. Actually, do you know what I need to do? I need to pick some mods or something. You know? I need to do that. Maybe wants to be a mod for the stream or something. I need to figure out how to do that, to be honest with you. DV, I missed that. Unless, did I say something, dude? Yeah, that's a good idea, Neil. That's a good idea. I'll need to look into all that sort of stuff. As I said, man, I'm, as you can probably tell, like, my videos are not even edited, to be honest with you. Or anything, I need to at one point try and refine all this type of stuff. We're not doing anything here, are we? We're just going to consolidate right in this range. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, DV, I'm fucking certainly not giving that guy a bean, that's for sure. Let's see if we can sell off, do something rather than just faff around the point of control. Yeah, I'll need to look at some point refining the streams and doing transitions and stuff like that. I need to do that at some point. But I'm more about putting out good content and rather than worrying about how fancy it looks, to be honest. But I suppose that the trouble is that in order for loads of people to watch it, you need to do it fancy. But I feel a lot of the stuff you see on YouTube, they focus too much on the fanciness and less on the content. Do you know what I mean? Like, I find the best stuff you tend to find is just the dudes that are speaking about the stuff they know rather than cutscenes and memes in between and stuff. Like, I'll do that eventually. Eventually. Right, come on, dump. Yeah, tomorrow should be interesting. See that. It's going to be, look at the amount of volume that's traded there as well. Regular trading hours, POC I have at 46. Daily is what you see is 39 and 3/4, including this morning, or sorry, the overnight session. I know, I'm not that green, man. No problem, John. I hope you enjoyed the stream, buddy boy. Hopefully you enjoyed it, my friend. Try and get some more content out over the next coming days. I think we'll see what we're going to work on. Maybe do the value area rotation. We'll come up with some ideas. We'll put one out probably on Saturday. Yeah, you guys have a think about what you'd like to see. I know a lot of people have been requesting the value area high, value area low stuff and so on. No problem, Trader Boy. Hopefully you found it valuable. Another session in the books for us. Still impressed with how negative the delta is, to be honest. Crazy. They have, chucked off like 7k though. So they have to close off some of the positions for it being net short on the day. I mean, we are aggressively net short from open. But yeah, I'll be chilling in the Discord for a while, everyone. Let me know if anyone's got any other questions before we look to call it. As soon as this minute is over, the market typically dies, to be honest with you. Okie doke, peeps. Gonna love you and leave you. Hope you guys have a great evening, or a good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you may be. I'll be chilling in Discord for a while, and we'll see you tomorrow for the end of the week. And hopefully we can end the week strong, and then have a nice weekend. So peace out, everyone. See you guys tomorrow.